I wrote my first book in 2009 to shed some light on alternatives for a 1031 exchange. After the book was published, I was invited to speak at several venues throughout the country. Surprisingly, I found that many real estate investors were unaware that you could do a 1031 exchange into oil and gas royalties.
Domestically, we're in the midst of an energy renaissance. And certainly I believe most investors understand what's occurring with the horizontal plays in North Dakota and South Texas. But the oil companies aren't the only ones making money in those areas. Private mineral owners are receiving royalty checks on each barrel that's coming out of the ground. And I think for most investors, they don't know how to access some of those royalty interests. And those that are familiar with royalty plays may not know that they can be used inside a 1031 exchange.
I wrote the 1031 solution to introduce oil and gas royalties to real estate investors. I wanted them to become aware of this uniquely American asset class and the advantages it has for a 1031 exchange.
You know, one of the great things about 1031 exchange is you can take what otherwise would be tax liability that you'd have to pay to Uncle Sam and keep that money working for you so you can buy replacement property. There's very strict requirements that the IRS has set out. One of the key elements is to buy like-kind property that costs equal or greater in value. It's relatively simple when you're working with somebody that can guide you through that process.
Hey Kirk, how are you? I will have the usual, please. Thank you. One of the problems that real estate investors have when doing a 1031 exchange is matching the relinquished property with the replacement property. That gap between the two is a taxable event. In the book, we address closing that gap using oil and gas royalties.
So the benefits of this strategy are numerous. First of all, there's a potential for decades of income derived from the gross production of the operators. Of course, this income as a royalty owner comes to you with no ongoing expenses and never any liabilities. Operators spend their money to drill on your acreage. From a diversification standpoint, real estate investors can bring in royalties or these oil and gas resources right alongside their real estate holdings and gives them a true diversified portfolio with interest in an area that's non-correlated to the real estate market.
I want to invite you to read chapter 1 of my book for free. Follow the link to 1031solution.com to download your copy. Learn how you, as a real estate investor, can capitalize on the unprecedented drilling activity occurring in the U.S.